She was women's cricket royalty until one collapse changed everything, and injuries destroyed the career of cricket's queen. On February 2023, Cape Town, South Africa. The T20 World Cup is underway. Stafanie Taylor, the queen of Caribbean cricket, is fielding near short, fine leg. She's been the backbone of West Indies women's cricket for over 15 years. She's their captain, their star player, their inspiration. Then suddenly, she goes down. Hard. The crowd goes silent. Her teammates rush over. Medical staff sprint onto the field. The cricketer sustained an injury while fielding near the short, fine region during the 8th over of the Indian innings. Thereafter, she was taken off the field on a stretcher in team physio's presence and did not take part in the remainder of the game. This wasn't just any injury. This was the beginning of the end for one of cricket's greatest ever female players. Stay with me, because this is the heartbreaking story of how Stafanie Taylor went from cricket queen to a player fighting just to stay on the field. Let's start with who Stafanie Taylor really was before everything went wrong. Born on June 11, 1991, in Jamaica, Stafanie Roxanne Taylor became a former captain of the West Indies women's cricket team. She has represented them over 250 times since her debut in 2008. Think about that for a second. Over 250 matches for her country. That's more than 15 years of international cricket at the highest level. But it wasn't just the quantity of matches. It was the quality of her performances that made her special. A right-handed batter and off-break bowler, Taylor was selected as the 2011 ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year, the first West Indian to receive the accolade. She was also the first woman to score 1,000 runs in ODIs for the West Indies. Let me break that down for you. In 2011, when women's cricket was still fighting for recognition, when prize money was tiny, when media coverage was almost non-existent, Stafanie Taylor was already being recognized as the best female cricketer in the world. Not just good, the absolute best. But what made Stafanie truly special was that she could do everything. She could bat, she could bowl, she could field. She was what cricket people call a genuine all-rounder. In men's cricket, all-rounders are rare. In women's cricket, they're almost impossible to find. But Stafanie was the real deal. She could win matches with the bat by scoring big runs. She could win matches with the ball by taking crucial wickets. And she could win matches in the field with brilliant catches and runouts. For more than a decade, Stafanie was the most consistent performer in West Indies women's cricket. When the team was struggling, she would step up and score the runs they needed. When they needed wickets, she would provide them with her clever off-spin bowling. When they needed leadership, she would captain the side with intelligence and passion. She wasn't just a player. She was the foundation on which the entire West Indies women's team was built. She plays domestic cricket for Jamaica and Guyana Amazon Warriors and has previously played for Auckland, Sydney Thunder, Adelaide Strikers, Western Storm. This shows you just how in demand she was. Teams from around the world wanted Stafanie Taylor. The Big Bash League in Australia, the 100 in England, leagues in New Zealand. Everywhere she went, she was a star player, a match winner, someone who could change the course of a game single-handedly. But being the best comes with a price. And for Stafanie, that price was the constant physical and mental strain of carrying her team's expectations. Every match, every series, every tournament, the weight of West Indies women's cricket was on her shoulders. When she failed, the team usually failed. When she succeeded, they had a chance. That kind of pressure, sustained over 15 years, takes a toll on any athlete. The first signs of trouble started to show around 2020. During the T20 World Cup in Australia, the all-rounder was the team's top scorer at the time, but appeared to be suffering with a groin injury and had to be stretchered off the field. Even then, people thought it was just a minor setback. Injuries happen in sport. Players recover. They come back stronger. But for Stafanie, this was the beginning of a pattern that would eventually destroy her career. In 2022, during a series against South Africa, disaster struck again. Nation was stretchered off after taking a tumble in the field, while Taylor was hit on the helmet by a short one and replaced by Aliyah Alain. A blow to the head is serious for any cricketer, but for someone who had already been dealing with injury problems, it was another setback that her body simply couldn't handle. But the real turning point came in February 2023 at the T20 World Cup in South Africa. The West Indies were playing India, Stafanie was fielding in her usual position, giving everything for her team as she always did. Then it happened. West Indies all-rounder Stafanie Taylor was escorted off the field during her side's T20 World Cup 2023 match against India. This wasn't just another injury. This was different, more serious, more frightening. After much medical observation, the West Indies Cricket Board have now unveiled new updates on Taylor's health. Medical update. Stafanie Taylor is being evaluated by the match medical team, and a further update will be provided. But the updates never came with good news. The injury was serious. The recovery would be long. And for a player who was already 32 years old, time was running out. The cruel thing about Stafanie's collapse in 2023 is that it happened at the worst possible time. The T20 World Cup is the biggest tournament in women's cricket. It's the stage where legends are made. It's where players define their careers. Stafanie had been building towards this tournament for years. She was still the captain. Still the star player, still the one everyone was counting on. And then, just like that, it was over. What made it even worse was watching her teammates struggle without her. For 15 years, they had relied on Stafanie to bail them out when things got tough. Suddenly, she wasn't there. The batting lineup looked fragile. The bowling attack lacked penetration. The team's confidence was shattered. It was like watching a building collapse when you remove the foundation. But Stafanie is a fighter. She always has been. So she tried to come back. She worked with the medical team. She did the rehabilitation. She fought through the pain and the frustration. By late 2024, there were signs that she might return. The West Indies squad for the tour of India was announced. But then came another devastating blow. West Indies will be without veteran all-rounder Stafanie Taylor for their upcoming white ball tour of India. The 33-year-old is currently rehabilitating from an injury, according to a CWI release, and will not be available for the 3 T20Is and 3 ODIs in India. The pattern was becoming clear. Every time Stafanie tried to return, her body broke down again. The injuries were becoming more frequent, more serious, more career-threatening. And at 33 years old, in a sport where most female cricketers retire in their early 30s, time was not on her side. The latest setback came in 2025. Senior batter Stafanie Taylor has been ruled out of the T20I series against South Africa with a shoulder injury, with West Indies calling up fast bowler Shanisha Hector as her replacement. Taylor sustained the injury during the third and final ODI against South Africa in Barbados. Yet another injury, yet another period on the sidelines, yet another reminder that her body simply can't handle the demands of international cricket anymore. Think about what this means for a player like Stafanie. She's not just any cricketer. She's someone who defined an entire generation of West Indies women's cricket. She was the first West Indian woman to win the ICC Cricketer of the Year award. She was the first to score 1,000 ODI runs for her country. She captained her team for years. She inspired countless young girls to take up cricket. And now, she's spending more time in the medical room than on the cricket field. The tragedy of Stafanie's story is that she's still good enough to play at the highest level. Her cricket brain is as sharp as ever. Her technique is still sound. Her leadership qualities are undimmed. But her body has betrayed her, the same body that served her so well for 15 years. That allowed her to become one of the greatest female cricketers of all time, is now the thing preventing her from playing the game she loves. For someone who has given their entire adult life to cricket, who has represented their country over 250 times, who has been the face of West Indies women's cricket for more than a decade, being constantly injured must be heartbreaking. Every match she misses is a match she can't get back. Every tournament she watches from the sidelines is an opportunity lost forever. The cruel irony is that women's cricket is now in its golden age. Prize money is increasing. Media coverage is improving. Young players are getting opportunities that didn't exist when Stafanie started her career. The sport she helped build is finally getting the recognition it deserves. But she's missing it all because of injuries that won't heal. What makes Stafanie's situation even more frustrating is that there's no clear timeline for her return. With some injuries, you know the player will be back in 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever. But with the type of recurring problems Stafanie is facing, nobody knows when or if she'll be able to play consistently again. She's living in limbo, unable to retire but unable to play. The impact on the West Indies team has been devastating. They've had to rebuild their entire structure without their star player. New captains have been appointed. Young players have been given opportunities they weren't ready for. But perhaps the biggest tragedy is what this means for Stafanie personally. Cricket isn't just her job. It's her passion. It's her identity. It's what she's known for around the world. When you take that away from someone, especially someone who has given so much to the sport, the psychological impact can be devastating. You can see it in her social media posts. Victory isn't always 20 overs on the field. To inspire and give hope to the young girls in the West Indies is what I'm most proud of. She's trying to stay positive. She's trying to find meaning beyond cricket. But you can sense the pain behind the words, the frustration of knowing you still have so much to give, but being unable to give it. The question now is whether Stafanie Taylor's career is over. At 33, with a history of recurring injuries, the odds are stacked against her. Most players in her situation would have already announced their retirement. But Stafanie is different. She's a fighter. She's someone who has overcome obstacles her entire career. Maybe, just maybe, she has one more comeback left in her. But even if she never plays international cricket again, her legacy is secure. She was the queen of Caribbean women's cricket for more than a decade. She broke barriers. She set records. She inspired a generation. She showed young girls that they could dream big and achieve anything. And no amount of injuries can take that away from her. The story of Stafanie Taylor is a reminder of how cruel sport can be. One minute you're on top of the world, the next minute you're being carried off on a stretcher. One collapse can change everything. One injury can end a career. But it's also a story of incredible achievement, of a woman who gave everything to her sport and her country, of someone who truly earned the title of Cricket Queen. Whether she plays again or not, Stafanie Taylor will always be remembered as one of the greatest female cricketers of all time. The first West Indian woman to be named ICC Cricketer of the Year, the first to score 1,000 ODI runs for her country, a genuine all-rounder who could win matches with bat, ball, or in the field, a leader who captained her team with distinction, and a pioneer who helped build the foundation of modern women's cricket. Her body may have let her down, but her spirit remains unbroken. And that's what makes her a true champion, not just for what she achieved when she was healthy, but for how she's handling the most difficult period of her career. The Queen may be wounded, but she's still royalty, and cricket is better for having had Stafanie Taylor. Subscribe if this story touched your heart and share it to celebrate the incredible career of cricket's true queen, Stafanie Taylor.